Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Bookishly Erica, and today we're going to be talking about Tower of Dawn. I am so excited that I finally got to get this book and finish this book. It's been about 2 years since I've read anything in the Throne of Glass series, so I was a little bit out of the loop on some of the things that were happening in here. I did need a refresher, which I found from Christine at Poland Banana Books. I will link her channel down below. She does a great job of recapping every book, and her spoiler reviews they're on point. So her videos kind of gave me a refresher on all the things that I was missing so that I could come into this with at least some sort of idea of remembering what was going on. So for those who don't know, Tower of Dawn takes place during the same timeline that Empire of Storms is taking place. So these two stories are overlapping each other. You do need to read this before you read Kingdom of Ash because there is overall plot advances that happen in this book. I would also recommend reading The Assassin's Blade before you read this. You really should read it after you read the first two books, you should read Assassin's Blade because there are things in there that pop up throughout the rest of the stories. There are connections between everybody, and you really have to read all of the stories to get a sense of how things connect and where they connect and why they connect. But there are a lot of Assassin's Blade references in here that if you didn't read Assassin's Blade, you may not get the significance of some of the things that happen. Okay, so this is going to be my non-spoiler review of Tower of Dawn. I am also going to do a spoiler review discussion if you want to click the link for my spoiler review, but this will be non-spoiler for those who haven't read the book yet. I really enjoyed Tower of Dawn. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did because I've never been quite a big fan of Chaol. I just always found his character to be very, I don't know, there's just something I don't like about him. He's kind of arrogant, he's kind of whiny, he's kind of just, shut up. I don't know how else to explain it. I've just never gotten the right vibes from Chaol. So going into Tower of Dawn, I'm thinking, great, it's a book dedicated completely to Chaol, which Sarah J. Maas, she kind of ruined Chaol's character by making him so bitter and he just went, yeah. And Chaol supporters I know were really upset with the way that his character was turning out. So Tower of Dawn was originally supposed to be a novella. And she needed, let's see, how many pages is this? She needed 660 pages to reverse what she did to Chaol. I will say, by the end of the book, I do like Chaol a lot better. I really, really appreciated the way that his character developed by the end of the book. So I think that she made the right call in changing this into a whole novel rather than just a novella because his character needed it. It really needed it. And it was a very good story. We meet some new characters who are going to be key players, I feel like, in Kingdom of Ash. They will make big appearances. The nice thing about Tower of Dawn, while the other books in this series, you follow a bazillion characters and you have to keep track of who's doing what and did this happen at the same time or what's this person doing? Tower of Dawn has 3 people. The chapters split between Chaol, Nesryn, and Yrene. By the way, quick side note here, I'm terrible at name pronunciations, so if I butcher these names, it is what it is. Anyway, this only follows the chapter switch between Chaol, Nesryn, and Yrene. Yrene is one of my favorite characters. I love her so much. On another note, I did not care for Nesryn in this book. I did like her in the second half, but the first half of the book, I was not feeling Nesryn. I wanted to skip through her chapters. I was bored. I was not engaged with her. So the second half she did get better and I did find her much more engaging. Overall, I thought the writing was very good. The story did a great job kind of overlapping and reminding you of key things that happened in the previous books. So for someone like me who kind of forgot a lot of what happened in the other books because it's been so long, this was great as a refresher, which I think was part of the point. It was also great for character development, and there are some fun things that happen in here that are going to further the plot and that kind of explain the plot a little bit more. So I was happy to see that she included some of that in here. I totally understand why people rave about Tower of Dawn. It did end up being a really good book. I think I'm gonna give it like a 4-star out of 5, just because there were some issues for me. The first half of the book was very heavy, and I think that's due to there wasn't a lot of like lightning pieces to it. There wasn't a lot of that comic relief or those other elements that kind of like lightened it up a little bit. So it was very heavy. At the end of the first half of the book, there's a part 1 and a part 2. At the end of part 1, I was feeling so like dragged down and heavy, just like, oh my gosh, I felt like I needed to take a break. Part 2 was so much better. There was a lot more comic relief and lightning, and things just started looking up. I don't know if that was the intention of the book, to kind of go from this heavy to this light, but I think that overall the book ended up being very good. By the end of the first half, I was probably getting ready to rate it a 3. The second half was probably a 5. So average it out, it's gonna be a 4. I think if you've already read up to this point, you're invested in the series, pick up Tower of Dawn. You do need to read Tower of Dawn before Kingdom of Ash. You cannot skip it. It's a good read. You'll enjoy it. It's an integral part of the series, so you do have to read it. So go read it, and then come back and visit my spoiler discussion on Tower of Dawn, and let's discuss all the juicy good feels that you felt in the book. Thanks so much for joining my spoiler-free discussion of Tower of Dawn. I hope to see you over on my discussion video with lots of good comments and feelings, and I will see you all later.